Hello everybody and welcome. Or, hey guys, I decided to do this video because patch 12.4 is coming out. And that's what we do every patch, don't we? We do this every patch. Today I would say I'm in actually a pretty good mood. I'm playing a shitload of Lost Ark. It came out about 3 days ago, so I've got 59 hours in it. Yes, really. And, yeah, Lost Ark has been going, honestly, Lost Ark has been going pretty good for me. Let me put music on. What kind of music do you guys want? You know what, let's listen to the Lost Ark OST. Let's do that one, Lost Ark. There we go. Just some normal, peaceful Lost Ark music here. So, we've gone over the patch notes, or at least what's going into them. We've in a previous video, you guys have probably looked at that, right? So in this video, we're pretty much gonna be talking about the impact of these notes and things like that. Last patch was pretty fucking bad and very frustrating for me because basically everything that happened in that patch I called and told you guys was going to happen, and then it happened. I get so fucking frustrated with these people, and these people, because these rioters, it's like, you guys should know. You should know what's gonna happen, right? And you don't, or you just refuse to accept that things that are extremely fucking. It's just the whole thing, man. The whole thing is just so frustrating to me because people that are working on the game should know better than me. Hold on, I'm gonna put out a tweet that I have this up. So anyway, let's go over this patch note. Let's talk about everything that's in it. Kitty, is Kitty behind me? She was behind me. Okay, no, she was behind me. Let's talk about what's going on in this patch. And oh, as always, you guys can use this video as a podcast, which I actually think that if you just want a video that goes on in the background and you don't need to pay the most attention to, these patch reviews are basically the best that you're gonna get for that, because it's just gonna be lots of talking. You can follow along visually. We, or at the very least, I will. If I have any relevant patch notes, previously, any changes, anything else like that, we'll bring them up on screen. You guys can look at them. So if you want to watch, you're free to watch. We can go over that on screen. If you want to just listen to it, you can use this as a podcast and things like that. Those both work great. In the meantime, everyone could make sure to like, everyone could make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your thoughts, your feelings. All these things help me. I do look over every single comment. People think I don't. I go over every single comment. I try to reply to a lot of them. The feedback is nice when you guys put down comments, just talking about the video or things you think I did wrong or stuff like that. You know, I do look at all of those. So let's go through this. So first off is Renata Glask. Now I actually, okay, did I put out a video on her? I can't remember. I actually think her design, her aesthetic is extremely good. I really actually, I actually really think she looks cool aesthetically, visually, right? But her balance, yeah, but aesthetically, I mean, she's really cool, right? So first up, we have Aatrox. They are buffing the sweet spot damage of his Q. They call it sweet spot because, okay, here's the problem. You guys, when I or someone else calls it crit, the crit, how much does it crit? The problem with that is that in a sense, that's what it is. It's the crit zone, right? But the issue is that people keep asking me if they should build Infinity Edge. It's not actually a crit. It doesn't get reduced by Omen. It doesn't get enhanced by Infinity Edge. Okay? Let me turn this music down just a little touch here. It's a sweet spot. Anyway, it's getting buffed. Instead of doing 150%, it's doing 160%. So Aatrox's win rate did go down a little bit. He already wasn't doing terribly good. This change, I'm going to be dead honest to you. I mean, if we do the math, people are calling it a 10% damage buff. It's not a 10% damage buff. It's a 6.25 damage buff, if you will. 6.7. I think it's actually 6.7. Anyway, it's a less than 7% damage buff, only on his Q, only in the sweet spot. So this isn't a massive buff, okay? This buff isn't going to fundamentally change Aatrox forever. However, something to consider is that because Aatrox gets a shitload of healing, Riot is a little bit afraid. Now, look, if you gave Jax 10% more damage, that would be buffing Jax's damage by 10%. That would be a pretty big buff. The thing with Aatrox is, because of how he functions, because he heals 80% of his damage with his rank 16 ultimate, buffing Aatrox's damage is a bit scary. They're scared to buff his damage. I understand that fundamentally, because if you buff Jax's damage by 10% more damage. You buff Aatrox's damage by 10%. That's 10% more healing and 10% more damage. So do I think this is going to be enough? Probably not. But Aatrox does remain stubbornly high pick. He's a stubbornly high pick champion. He excels currently around Diamond. We can see he's got the high 48%, almost got the 49%. In Diamond. At Masters, he starts falling back down a little bit, but he's stubbornly high pick. What I always try to do is to be as unbiased as possible. What I always do is ask myself, if another champion is in that situation, what would I say? Well, I would probably say if they're being at least a decently high pick, he's not in the top 10 anymore, but if he's near the top 10, he's probably close to good. So that's what I would say to myself if I was trying to be unbiased. So in that sort of situation, I would probably say that. But the problem with trying to be careful with the buff like this is that if you're careful with buffs and you don't give them the buff they actually need, but instead you give them a small buff, inevitably what you're going to have to do is, if it's not enough, you'll have to come back and buff them again. But what frequently happens in situations like this, I'm sure you've seen this with other champions, they get 3, 4, 5 buffs in a row till they're turbo broken tier, is that if the first buff fails, a lot of people will go, well, the champion wasn't good with that buff, why would he be good with that buff? So the second buff goes to the wayside and nobody notices it. And the third buff goes to the wayside and nobody notices it. And then the fourth buff happens and suddenly it took a champion who is slightly below top tier, who's now broken as shit. And I think that's why you should actually aim to make champions good with your buffs, not just give them a slight bump. I think Aatrox is less than good right now. So, with that said, I would have preferred, my personal take on this, I think Aatrox's Q is okay, but I think his real issue is sustained damage. I think they could maybe have adjusted his passive a little bit so that maybe they reduced the cooldown on his passive instead of 24 to 12, maybe 22 to 10, maybe something like that, because Aatrox's passive clearly is his only real form of sustained damage / healing. Now, wait, did I bring the patch notes up here? Where is what am I looking at? Okay, sorry, I'm being a bit discombobulated. So when we look right here, you can see when you go to the super low ranks, Aatrox is at a 47%, a low 47%. I think they should have given him the passive cooldown reduction because that would help him at the low ranks most of all by giving him, I mean, his passive, fundamentally it's the lowest skilled part of the kit. Because you have to hit his Q, you have to hit his W, your E you have to maneuver and use properly, his R you have to time. His passive is the only ability that every time you auto attack you're going to hit someone with your passive, right? So I think if they pushed his passive from 24 to 12 to 22 to 10, that would buff his early game a little bit. And remember, he does hit his passive down. So with that change, he'd be able to passive hit, crit 2 Qs, passive hit again in the late game. Whereas right now, he can't do that because there'll still be a little bit of time in between it. Anyway, I think that's the change I would have gone for. That would give him, particularly, I think that would make him better in the matchups where he can't crit his Q against Aurelia and champions like that. And those are the matchups currently I think he needs the most help. He's actually, I'm so bad at computer stuff, it is a wonder that people trust me to make videos because I am fucking terrible at this. Anyway, so that's about it for Aatrox. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I think it will help, obviously. I do I do think, though, that there's a chance that it will be far more impactful than I'm giving it credit. Simply because, again, Aatrox heals, like, fucking 80% of his damage dealt in his rank 16 ultimate. I think a lot of people forget that. I don't think there's any other champion in League who even gets fucking half of that. Aatrox, unironically, okay, I think when I say that, some of you guys, like, don't believe me. Aatrox, look at his E. When he's in his ult, it heals for 50% with the rank 5 E, right? Then he gets a 60% increase on that. 60% more, 50% is 80%. Aatrox heals at rank 16 for 80% of his damage dealt. No champion gets close to that. Aatrox is like when it comes to healing, Aatrox heals more than like every fucking other character in the game combined. So again, there is the chance that even buffing Aatrox's damage a little bit just sort of goes like, just like fucking like changes League of Legends as we know it for Aatrox, okay? Now, for Amumu, I talked about Amumu the other day, so, okay. I want to say this again. I know I said this on the other video, so you guys are probably thinking, oh, he's wasting time, he's trying to generate content, shut the fuck up. So, they did a change for Mr. Mumu, where they capped the damage reduction on his E, and again, remember, his E reduces damage by a flat amount. They capped this at 50% of the damage. The problem is Amumu relied on taking 0 damage from a lot of jungle monsters. They capped it because of Zeri. Then they nerfed his armor for fucking God knows why. They're just sometimes Riot just pisses me off because it's so fucking stupid, right? Like, oh wow, we nerfed a champion who wasn't overpowered because of Zeri, then we nerfed him again because of Zeri? Okay, so I'm reading in chat, some of you guys don't understand Aatrox. Aatrox's E says it's Omnivamp, it's not Omnivamp. It says Omnivamp, it's not Omnivamp. You heal 80% of damage dealt. Even on your Q, you heal 80%. It doesn't fucking matter that it's Omnivamp, that it's an AoE, because it's not Omnivamp. They changed the tooltip to say Omnivamp because whoever was in charge of the tooltip is stupid. I've made a video on this. Just to be clear, Aatrox's E says Omnivamp. It is not Omnivamp, it is straight healing. If it was Omnivamp, yes, he would heal 1/3 of that value on his Q AoE. But he heals for the full. Aatrox and some other effects, he heals your full. Okay? Just to be clear, just so you guys think that his Q heals for 1/3, it doesn't. You're just always healing debuffed. But I promise you, if you aren't healing debuffed with Aatrox and you hit 2 or 3 people with your Q and your health just goes boop, back in the late game, it's because you're healing for 80% of your damage dealt. Anyway, so for Amumu, what they're doing, fuck me if you know why. I don't fucking know. They are buffing the damage reduction on his E by 3. Instead of admitting that this was stupid to nerf him because of Zeri, they're buffing his E. They're not just like undoing it and maybe changing his interaction with Zeri. Like, sometimes I just read this shit and I'm just like people are paid for this. Again, I'm gonna say they use broken window balancing so many times. They smash a window. They're like a window repair company, and they come in and smash the windows, and then they go, look at all these broken windows. Guess you'll need to buy new windows from us. Hey guys, we fucked Amumu. Now we have to unfuck Amumu. Now we get to make 2 patch notes and make it look like we're doing shit with our lives. Okay, so there we go. He still only can reduce damage by 50%, but now he reduces it by 3 more, which that's not gonna fix the issue that happened in the jungle. But okay, Ashe. Okay, so I need to explain this one. Ashe's ultimate moved quickly, and most of you, it would just go zoop, and she would stun people. They're buffing her, but what they're doing is they're making the arrow will travel at 1500 instead of 1600 speed, but the speed will increase by 200 per second up to 1200. So for the first 0.5 seconds, it's slower. Then it'll be the same speed. Then it will slowly increase in speed and be faster until 3 seconds of travel. At which point it will be 2100 movement. So yeah, it's actually not that complicated, to be honest with you. There's not much to talk about here. Blitzcrank. So since my last video, I have talked to a lot of people. What a lot of people are saying is that Blitzcrank's win rate, and let's go look at his win rate. A lot of people are saying Blitzcrank's is win rate is going way up because enchanters are being played. So Blitzcrank hasn't been buffed since last year, but his win rate spiked really hard. And a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people think that the reason he can have this win rate without, like, his pick rate goes down as you get up in rank, despite his win rate not going up. And I think what a lot of people have come to the conclusion of is that when we look at let's look at the top 5 pick champions: Karma, Lulu, Thresh, Janna, Yuumi. So that's 4 to 5 of the top 5 are enchanters. And even when you go to Platinum, it's the same thing. Oh, I guess there's Senna, who isn't getting nerfed. Don't fucking know why. And what a lot of people are thinking is that Blitzcrank's win rate just went up really high because he can snipe enchanters, bring them in, and kill them. So anyway, they're nerfing him. I'm gonna be dead honest. A lot of you guys think that I just look at u.gg and I think champions are overpowered or underpowered because u.gg. Rarely is that actually what I do. And in this particular case, I think Blitzcrank... Here's the thing, I fucking hate Blitzcrank. I do. I fucking hate this champion. But I swear, I don't really think he's overpowered. I think he's really annoying to fight and frustrating, but I truly don't believe he's overpowered. And yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. Somebody donated $1 to ask thoughts on Hullbreaker on Aatrox. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's good at all. But do you, buddy? You know, don't let me ruin your memes. Let your dreams be memes. Okay. Dr. Mundo's dead, I guess. Dr. Mundo wasn't dead the last time. He used his W and recovered and started coming back up. And so now they're killing him again. Now he's fucking dead. Now, let me show you guys. Here's the thing about Dr. Mundo. He has less win rate and less play rate than Garen at Platinum. At all ranks, he has slightly more win rate, but half the play rate of Garen. Even at the lower ranks, he's not outperforming Garen, and he falls off really hard, and then he does, like, he doesn't... I don't know. So, Mundo's just fucking dead, I guess. I don't know. His AD growth is going down, so he's losing 12 damage at level 18. And his ult is going up in cooldown, so it's now 110 at all ranks. It never comes down. If you're like out of silver, you're probably never gonna fight Mundo again. He's just fucking dead. I actually enjoy playing Mundo every so often. He's one of my more favorite champions, actually. I enjoy playing Mundo all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but I do actually enjoy playing Mundo. Again, not all the time, but he's probably like in my top 10 for champions. So this is probably the part of the patch note where I go, God damn it. Because I don't think he was even pickable at the rank I play at. I mean, I'm in Masters, Grandmasters right now, and I don't think Mundo is playable there. So I would pick him sparingly, and now he's just dead. So bye, I guess. Illaoi. Okay, so let me explain this one. Let me explain this one for you guys. So Illaoi's auto attack base attack speed was 0.571. They're increasing it to 0.625. Now, just to be clear, she had effectively, this is like she permanently had a 9% attack speed buff, and now they are removing it because Illaoi had a very low base attack speed. I'm assuming that was to try to force her to have to hit her abilities more and to not allow her to just use her massive base damage and W spam to kill people. But it's been a long fucking time since just having high base damage and spamming one ability was enough to kill people. That's like 6 years out of date. Is she 6 years old? I don't know. You can't really do that. So she does have one of the highest, I think the highest potentially, attack damages at level 18. It's massive. So I'm assuming they gave her a low attack speed, a base attack speed to accommodate for that. So let me do the calculator again. So effectively this is like she's getting a 10% attack speed buff, but everywhere, because your base attack speed affects everything. All you're doing is taking your attack speed multiplier and multiplying your base attack speed by that. Your attack speed per level doesn't actually increase your base attack speed, it just multiplies it. So, for example, if you have 50% more attack speed at level 18, and then you bought a 50% attack speed in items, you would have 100% bonus attack speed, and that would just multiply your base attack speed by 100%. So by buffing her base attack speed, effectively, they're giving her 10% more attack speed the entire game. It's a 10% total attack speed buff. So if she's just standing there auto-attacking you, it will now do 10% more damage. In addition to that, and I guess this goes into what I was saying, her W is now having its AD ratio doubled. I'm gonna be dead fucking honest, I'm not sure why she needed more anti-tank. Illaoi was one of the most frustrating champions, in my opinion, when you played a tank, knowing that there was literally no point where you could ever beat Illaoi. If you ever played Sion, or you ever played Ornn, or you ever played Mundo, you could literally never beat Illaoi. You just can't. So buffing her anti-tank is a little bit annoying. So the buff of her W and the buff of her base stats, the combination of this, she'll be an even harder anti-tank, whatever. She goes from auto-beating tanks to auto-beating tanks. But I think importantly, for those super dancey champions that, you know, Yone, champions like that just sort of sprint around you in circles, just, you can't fucking hit them with anything, this buff will help you. Remember that this, the WAD ratio is total AD. So just off the base numbers, she's going to get about 6% more health damage on every W. So during your ult, this ability is going to have about 11% health ratio plus then your bonus AD. 11%. Yeah, that was actually right. 11%. At level 18, it'll be 11% plus then your bonus AD will factor into it. So probably somewhere with her itemization, it'll probably be somewhere around 22 to 25% health damage on her W plus her attack speed passive. So she will be able to, like, if you're playing a Yone or you're playing Yasuo or stuff like that, she'll be able to whack you a good chunk. If you don't build armor, Illaoi's W is gonna ka-chunk you, okay? So, yeah, that's basically all this means, in my opinion. Is it gonna be enough? It's gonna, like, she's already fucking annoying as shit. Like, let me be dead honest, this is one of my least favorite champions. I really wish they would give her a little bit of a rework. At all ranks, she's coming in at 48%. At high ranks, she's coming in, well, I should say plat, she's coming in at a 47%. I'm not going to look at Masters because she's not going to have nearly enough games. Yeah, even in D2 Plus, she only has 1,700 games. In Masters Plus, she'll probably like 9 games played. So she's not doing good at the high ranks. This seems to be more of a low rank buff anyway, but it seems to be, I don't really know. There's not a whole lot in Illaoi's kit that you can think of like tuning a kit. You can add numbers to an area. There's not really a way you can add numbers to this champion that helps her against mobile champions, but also primarily helps her at the high ranks, right? Because if you buffed her skill shot damage, that would just make her better against tanks. But then if you don't, like if you buff her base damage, if you just buff the shit she can auto attack, that's going to affect the low ranks because they're just going to walk up and beat the shit out of people, I guess. Yeah, because low ranking people never hit their skill shots. Or they always hit their skill shots because nobody dodges. It just depends on what meme you're doing that day. That's just a bug. That doesn't really matter. That bug fixed. So Callista, okay. So her base armor is coming up by 3. There's not really a whole lot to talk about here. 3 armor. So if she has 1,000 health, 3 armor means she'll take 30 more physical damage to kill. If she has 2,000 health, she will now take 60 more physical damage to kill. It's not a significant buff. It does help you in the early game because remember that, like, remember what I just said? If you have 1,000 HP, you need 30 more damage. Well, over the course of the first part of the laning phase, with your health regen, with your Dorn's blade healing, with your potion, you'll probably have about 1,000, maybe more health throughout the entire first back, right? So she'll take an extra auto attack. Throughout an entire laning phase, she'll take an extra auto attack. So think about, are you a Callista player? Do you all in? Do you ever play bot lane? Do you ever fight with or against Callista? Then you will take an extra auto attack. In the last catastrophic showdown all-in doomsday, you will take potentially 1 to 2 extra auto attacks to kill, depending on how many shields and things like that. 3 armor doesn't seem like a lot until your last auto attack doesn't kill Callista and she kills you, and then you're gonna be sitting here saying, "Fuck you, Riot, you killed me." So it doesn't seem impactful until it's impactful, okay? Lucian, okay, this buff does fucking nothing. So he's losing 2 mana on his Q early game and 10 mana on it late game. I guess. That's not how armor works at all. That is literally actually how armor works. Actually, with their formula, with the estimated HP, EHP. Yeah, that's how the armor system works, by the way. It just, you don't notice the diminishing returns, and you don't notice anything of that, but this is effectively what it means, okay? EHP, estimated HP, 3 armor means you take 3% more physical damage. But I'm not going to sit here and explain fucking estimated HP to you guys. Why do I look at chat while doing these videos? So you guys just annoy me. So Piercing Light is going down, I guess. I mean, he'll be able to maybe use 1 extra ability. I don't know. Was Lucian running out of mana? I don't know. I don't know. Nami's getting her E damage back. They removed this last patch, and now she's getting it back. She was a little bit overpowered. Now she's a little bit underpowered. So they're giving it back, and I guess she'll be back to being a little bit overpowered. Maybe they could have snuck it in the late game. So maybe it goes up to like 85 at rank 5, and maybe early game it stays at 20. Maybe that would be like a good middle ground in between these. Just, oh, a little bit overpowered is fine. A little bit underpowered isn't fine. You know, whatever. I don't know. Neeko. Okay, so you guys are probably very spoiled. You guys are spoiled motherfuckers. Let me explain that. All you people playing today have not had to deal with Neeko top. Neeko top is fucking insanely frustrating. Every time you are playing a melee champion and you try to get a CS, she chucks her root at you, chucks your Q at you, you lose half your health, and you get zoned out and die. So she got nerfed into the fucking ground. Just Riot, for some reason, decided that her root should be good. It should go 0.7 to 1.5, so she should be able to root people good, even if it doesn't hit a minion first. And then if it does hit a minion, she gets a 1.8 to 3 second root. Anyway, so Neeko is a fucking disaster for top lane. She obliterates melee champions, and that's why she was nerfed into the ground. They're reducing her hitbox, so she'll be smaller and harder to hit with abilities, which is already frustrating, but Aatrox did good into her, so whatever. Her Q is getting more damage at the later ranks. Not the first part, but the pew, pew, pow. That part's getting more damage. And they're reducing her shapeshifter by 4 seconds. 4 seconds. That means she now has a 12-second cooldown on her stealth that also gives her movement speed. I don't like that at all. A 16-second cooldown on this ability means basically no melee champion can actually find time to engage on her between its cooldowns. Meaning Neeko, for the most part, is going to be just a fucking frustrating disaster for melee champions. Every time Jax press Counter-Strike, for example, she's just going to press W. And one man's opinion, I fucking hate Neeko top. There's some wacky quality of life changes. I just fucking hate Neeko so much. She just obliterates melee champions, and she has no interesting gameplay. It literally feels like a rioter was just like, hey guys, what if we made Morgana, but like it was a chameleon and it could go top lane and fuck over melee? And someone was like, yay! And they were like, I don't like how like Morgana's Q gets blocked by minions. It doesn't let me kill the melee champions. What if like it could go through minions, and also if it went through them, it rooted as much as Morgana's Q? And they were like, yay! And then they were like, and what if it was faster too? And everyone was like, yay! And that's Neeko. That's Neeko's design. All she's done as a champion, her entire competitive, high-ranking history, everything this champion has ever amounted to, is fucking over melee top laners. She's literally never done anything else. Potentially, Riot, rework this fucking champion so she's not just a fuck you melee top laner pick. There are a lot of fuck melee top laner picks. There are a lot of them. You don't need another one. So Nunu and Willump are getting annihilated. They actually snuck in a second nerfs into my video. Now, for those of you who watch and you wonder, why don't you do a patch reaction now that Riot has put out the patch notes? Because often Riot will sneak in extra nerfs, or things like that. And the thing is that there's no point in doing a reaction video. There's no point in going over patch notes until they're live, until they show them in the patch note. Once they're here, these are what's going into the game. Everything before that, anything you see on Surrender. Particularly, I don't want you guys to look at Surrender at 20, or that one guy's Twitter. Don't look at them. For some reason, they have gotten, I don't know if they're like, they really need attention or something, but they've been posting all their changes as if they're the official Riot changes. The way they word it, the way they phrase it, it's like they're basically trying to say, these are the official 100% changes that will happen. And they're not. They're not. Okay? So, I see people all the time and say, but on that guy's Twitter, he said that Riot was nerfing this thing. No. The only person who speaks for Riot is Riot, and their patch notes, these patch notes are the end be all. Okay? It doesn't matter that some dude on Twitter said that there was an experimental change he saw in the PBE that Riot never confirmed and was never going to happen. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way because a lot of you guys come at me and you say, where did the Divine Sunderer nerf go? Riot said, no, Riot never said they were nerfing Divine Sunderer to current health damage. That was one experimental change that existed on one PBE cycle that a dude seemingly trying to get attention posted on Twitter, and it got a lot of attention because he was like, these are the official Riot patch note changes things. It's not. Just don't listen to them. Listen to what Riot puts out on their Twitter and listen to these patch notes. Now, Sometimes they do put things on the PBE, and sometimes they do go live, but if they do, they will be in these patch notes. So when I'm in these patch note videos and I'm looking at these patch notes, this is what's going to happen. If they're not listed here, they aren't going to happen, okay? Anyway, so Riot was originally just going to nerf his Q consume. They're nerfing his healing against champions really hard. Really hard. That's like a 60, it's like they're removing like, yeah, they are removing 25% of the entire healing. Damn. So Nunu's been a high win rate champion, but personal opinion, I don't find Nunu overpowered. I really actually don't. I think he's got a high win rate because he just spam ganks and just shits over players who aren't paying attention or things like that. As a dude who gets spam ganked all the time, I do not find Nunu overpowered at all. Okay? I don't find him overpowered. If you're going to get spam ganked, Rek'Sai does what Nunu does 20 billion times better. So at this point, Nunu's level 18 health is down to 1800 because they're nerfing his health per level. So Nunu will probably be one of the squishiest champions in the game. If Riot wants to push AP Nunu, boy oh boy, Riot, how the fuck are you gonna build AP when you're squishier than a goddamn AD carry? So his healing against champion is nerfed and his health per level is nerfed. I think this champion is just done, right? Like, he's just dead. Even if he has a 51% win rate, I would still say he's over. If he had a 51% win rate, I would say he's underpowered. I honestly would say that. I think with this nerf, he'll be underpowered. Even if he goes positive, just because he preys on people who aren't paying attention. Kiana is one of the most broken champions that has ever been added into League. She is fucking insanely overpowered. I'm going to try to explain one more time. I keep doing this, but a lot of you guys just don't mentally grasp why this champion, who seemingly has what her passive is getting nerfed to, it was a 0.55, now it's a 0.45 AD ratio, and you're probably going, 0.45, that's so low, she won't be able to kill anyone. Well, okay, here's the thing. The reason Kiana has always been so overpowered, despite none of these numbers, besides her ultimate, none of these numbers are particularly broken. They're all average or low AD ratios, right? So a lot of you guys wonder, how does Kiana, one of the highest burst champions, how does she just sort of run at you and kill you from full HP? It's because these numbers keep happening over and over and over and over and over. Riot has a tendency sometimes when they rework champions or when they release new champions, they sometimes have a tendency to give them a lot of hidden damage, a lot of hidden ratios, so that on its surface level it looks balanced. But then once you actually look into the kit, let me give you an example here. So her Q procs her passive, right? So as of right now, her Q actually has a 1.25 AD ratio. On a ranged nuke, that's not bad. I mean, that's pretty average, right? But then when she uses her Terra shape and grabs an element, is it her Terra shape? Yes. This, wait, does this reset? Hold on here. Is it Terra shape? Yeah, no, it is Terra shape. Yeah, okay, I was right. Sorry, I just, okay, so once she gets Terra shape, when she grabs an element, so she throws a Q at you, then she can gap close to grab an element, but when she does that, that resets the cooldown on her Q and her passive. So she throws a Q at you for 1.25 AD ratio, grabs an element, auto attacks you, which gets a 0.10 bonus AD ratio, then throws a second Q at you for another 1.25. So there's a 2.6 just by Q, gap forward, auto attack Q. That's a 2.6 AD ratio. And that's when these things start getting high. Because, particularly because she can stealth, particularly because she tends to stack cooldown reduction, you'll see things like she'll throw her Q at you, stealth, wait, get the second Q, throw that one at you, then gap close forward, throw the third one at you, and you're just dead. And you're like, what just happened? She has her E, which only has a 0.5 AD ratio. She has her ultimate, which has a way too high AD ratio for a basically point and click ultimate. And yeah, that's basically what happened. Kiana just has so many sources of damage, all hitting you. There's also, if she has the fire thing, she does bonus damage as well. So then, yeah, so she's got like bonus damage, and then her auto attacks do more damage when she's holding an element, and then her E does damage, her alt does. There's just so many sources of damage. Anyway, my point is this is why Kiana has always been fucking overpowered, because once you actually learn how to manage all these ridiculous sources of damage, once you actually learn how to reset your abilities and use all of them, she basically just one-shots people. And Riot has always struggled to deal with the fact that the low-ranking people don't know you can abuse this shit to just get ludicrous damage, and the high-ranking people just fucking one-shot you. She's been historically one of the most broken champions of all time. Rumble is getting 5 more base armor. So remember what we were talking about with Kalista? She's getting 3 armor. Rumble's getting 5. I actually think this is going to be way more impactful than Riot thinks, because Rumble has a shield that is very spammable that will make that 5 armor be more impactful. He already has been shown to have some issues with the fact that he can all-in spam a lot of different champions. 5 more armor and a shield spam champion. Now, I do like that they're buffing his tankiness rather than his damage again, because Riot tends into... I've been talking about this the other day. If you actually look at their patch notes, you'll notice how many times Riot buffs the damage. Anytime a champion is underpowered, they typically buff their damage. So on this patch, they actually do seem, for the most part, if they're buffing a champion, they're giving them tankiness. If they're nerfing a champion, they're giving them less damage. So, for the most part, not on every change. There are some changes here. Like, if you look, Aatrox is getting more damage. Okay, Amumu tankiness. Ashe speed. Blitzcrank is losing health regen. Dr. Mundo is losing damage. Illaoi is getting damage. Kalista is getting tankiness. Mana. I guess she's getting damage. This is more damage and mobility. Nunu and Willump is losing health. So, yeah, he's losing damage. He's gaining tankiness. Sett is, we'll go up to Sett. Sett's gaining tankiness. So, it's actually better than it used to be. Right, like 3-4 years ago, they'd be like, Rumble's overpowered, give him more damage. Like, anytime a champion was underpowered, Riot used to basically default to give them more damage. And that's how we've ended up in this situation, because, again, I know I've talked about this in the past, 100 damage on a rank 1 ability used to be on the high end. Your average rank 1 ability did 60 to 70 damage, right? But with all the buffs to damage, just buff, 100 damage is practically the average for a rank 1 ability. And now the high end is like 130 to 150 damage at rank 1. Garen used to be pretty unique in that his Q dealt a chunk at level 1. Now Garen's Q... God damn, how much fucking damage does that ability do now? Doesn't it do like 140 to 150 right now? Yeah, so, yeah, it does a lot of damage. I think it used to have like a 1.280 ratio. Now it's got like a 1.5 plus 30. Jesus. So yeah, damage is power creeped. Anyone who tells you that damage hasn't gone up, that people have just gotten better, everyone hits their abilities, everyone does combos, damage has gone up really high. AP ratios are high, AD ratios are high. The base damage in the game is much higher than it used to be. Just the actual damage on abilities is higher. So again, to just add on to this, it's good that at least Riot is deciding that for some champions, not everyone just needs more damage. So Rumble's getting 5 more armor, which I'm a bit wary about, again, because for a champion who's going to stand back and poke at you all lane, for him having more mitigation, for him having better all-in, because 5 armor will affect the all-in pretty hard, this is going to be impactful. We might see the return of Rumble Top being a more default pick. Now, Sett is gaining 7 more HP per level. He's going from 2181 to 2300 HP at level 18. 2300 18... That's good. That's a good chunk of damage. I'm assuming that they were trying to do this to make his W hit harder. In effect, it seems they're trying to compensate for the Gore Drinker nerf by giving him that like 100 health that he lost. Although technically he lost 150, but it used to be 400. So it's gone from 400 to 450 back to 300. So it's gone up and down. So now I think that yeah. So anyway, they're basically giving him back the HP he lost. Now, you might be saying, oh, but Hashinshin won't he be overpowered now because he also gained the damage from Gore Drinker. Let's just be clear. Sett, even at the low ranks, he's going negative right now. Even at the low ranks, he can't even get that 50% win ratio. Once we look at D2+, Sett is at 48%. If we look at Masters Plus, he's by 48% Masters. He's 48%. His pick rate is going down. His win rate is going down. Sett was already underpowered before the Gore Drinker change, before the Aatrox nerf. I don't think this nerf is actually going to be enough. This is kind of like that Aatrox change. It's like a little bit of a fist bump. They're like, go Sett, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that it won't be enough. Yeah. Maybe if they buffed his armor per level in addition, like not by much, but maybe like a couple points. So maybe have 5 to 6 more armor at level 18. Just like pushed him in the late game a little bit. He's already good in the early game. I don't know. Anyway, that's Sett. Veigar is fucking insanely overpowered right now, and this is not going to be nearly enough, particularly because these nerfs don't affect his late game, and he actually gets slightly stronger in the late game, which is fucking ridiculous. If we look at Plat Plus, overall, Veigar, let's just be clear, Kiana got hotfix nerfed this patch. So her win rate is actually higher than it should be, because she got hotfix nerfed, okay? And they're nerfing support items. So Kiana doesn't really have this win rate because halfway through the patch she got nerfed, right? Veigar is, in effect, once we exclude Kiana, who's being taken out because she literally got nerfed mid-patch, Veigar is literally the highest win rate champion, period. I don't believe, if we go to all ranks, yeah, he is literally the highest win rate champion. The low ranks, where the late game happens more often, and late game nerfs tend to not affect you as much, not nerfing his late game, and in fact giving it a slight little bump, I don't think giving 2 less armor and having 2 more seconds cooldown on Event Horizon is going to deal with the fact that he is fucking insanely overpowered right now. He is literally, like, 54%, let's just be clear, on a champion with a lot of games, 54% is 60% win rate, in my opinion, is where you enter the basically auto win. Because there are 5 people on a team, you do have things like AFKs, you do have things like trolls, things like that, right? So 60% win rate, I would call literally auto win. 50% would then be balanced, but 50% isn't for every champion, right? Some champions need higher or lower win rates to be balanced. Win rate isn't everything. 54 to 55%, you're like halfway to auto win. That's a fucking lot of overpowered. He should probably, instead of 18 to 12, maybe it should have been 20 to 14. Maybe a little bit of a cooldown increase on his Event Horizon in the late game would help. Look, right, not every champion has insane mobility where you need to have low cooldown Event Horizon. For the vast majority of champions, the ones that don't have stupidly high mobility, Event Horizon is kind of stupid to fight in the late game. That's it. That's all I have to say. Zaya, I think that what they're, okay, so Zaya was really overpowered with a lethality build. So what they're trying to do here is they're buffing her critical strike chance damage multiplier on her E, because they don't want lethality Zaya to come back. Everybody got that? So if she builds crit, when she pulls the blades in, it's probably going to one-shot you. In other words, dodge it even harder than you dodge right now. Yeah. Zeri, and I mentioned this last patch, so for those of you who like consistency or contingency or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like a plot, foreshadowing, last patch notes, what did I say? Yeah, I said this champion was fucking broken. And she's still fucking broken. So they are basically, I'm not going to read through all of these, they're basically giving her across the board nerfs to everything she does. Basically everything she does, she's getting nerfed, because even with, okay, let me put it this way, even with how broken she is now, and she's pretty broken, high 52% at plat, at masters she's up to 54%, so as stupidly overpowered as I called Veigar, Zeri's a 70 fucking percent ban rate and 54% win rate. As broken as I called Veigar, this champion might actually be more broken. It's just nobody gets to play her because she's permabanned. I saw Zeri like 5 times this patch. The entire patch. She never gets played because she's fucking permabanned. It gives me a goddamn aneurysm that Riot literally didn't think that Zeri was gonna build Trinity. I just can't for the fucking life of me understand how nobody at Riot thought she was gonna build Trinity. So let's actually, I want to look here. Let's actually look here. She is still only 90% pick rate on Trinity. Still. That means she still has more win rate that she could get. At 54%. And people will continue to get better at her. With this high of a ban rate, that means people haven't even been able to practice her ideally. People will continue to get better at this champion. So anyway, yes, they are doing effectively an across-the-board nerf to everything. Her uncharged basic attack is getting nerfed. Her charged basic attack is also getting nerfed. Her Q is getting nerfed. Her W is, well, you guessed it, nerfed. Her E, nerfed. Her ult, nerfed. Literally everything about this champion, literally every facet, aspect, every fundamental thing about this champion is being nerfed. Again, I cannot understand why nobody at Riot tested her with Trinity. Did nobody? Like there was just someone who... There must have been one playtester who came in and was like, hey man, now to test your champion with Trinity. And they were like, I know I've made this joke before, but shut the fuck up. I'm going to make it again because I still think it's applicable. Guy goes, oh man, let's test your champion with Trinity. They're like, no, we don't have to test her with Trinity. They're like, well, every auto attack she has is actually an ability which will proc Trinity, so let's test her with Trinity. No, we don't need to do that. Why wouldn't we need to do that? She's an 80 carry. Of course they would build crit. What are you going to do? Not build crit on an 80 carry? He's like, well, they use their ability to auto attack, so Trinity would be really good on them, wouldn't it? No champion with a spammable auto attack Q as an 80 carry has ever built items like Trinity. I'm sure we have nothing to worry about here. And they're like, well, I think there's the one that, and they're like, no, just ship it alive. Imagine if they balanced Ezreal to be balanced on crit. How would you have to buff Ezreal that crit Ezreal would actually be good? You would have to massively buff everything about him. And that's Zeri. Imagine they buffed everything about Ezreal, trying to force crit Ezreal to be balanced, and then people just built what they built now on him. He would be like a 97% win rate. And that's Zeri. Okay, ally item bings are now available. You can now display your allies' item cooldowns and charges in-game by picking items cooldown. Okay, well that's neat, actually. I've often wondered how the fuck... Like, I've often wondered, can I please get your Guardian Angel cooldown? Ah, here we go. I read about this. This is the most important nerf Riot has ever done. Rejuvenation beads are finally getting nerfed. What? Guys, rejuvenate? The most important change. Rejuvenation beads. There must be a rioter who died to rejuvenation beads. Someone like did like 3 rejuve beat Akali or some shit, and he's like, no, I can't damage her. This is overpowered. No, they buffed her health regen. That's why rejuve beat Akali is working. Maybe she shouldn't have had extremely high health regen, Riot. Sorry, every time Riot makes a dumb change, there's another dumb change behind that dumb change that made that dumb change happen. I swear to fucking God. Every single time there is a dumb change. I as a dude who remembers this shit, guys, trust me, I remember this shit. Fucking anytime you see a dumb change, go ask me. Say, hey, Hashinshin, why is Riot doing this dumb thing? And I'll be like, oh, because they buffed Akali's health regen and they literally refused to admit that that was a stupid idea. So now they're gonna nerf all rejuve beads because Akali got buffed. Yeah, I shit you the fuck not. I shit you the fuck not. Oh, should we move Akali's health regen back to 8? Because then if you build rejuve beads, then that would mean she's getting 1.5 less health regen. But your average Akali player won't be that affected. And actually, and the Riot's like, no, nerf rejuve beads. They're like, wait, but we could just nerf Akali's health regen. Be like, no, rejuve beads is overpowered. I tried to rejuve bead Akali too, damn it. Okay. So what the fuck is the point of this item then, Riot? So like you're nerfing it into being a shitty item, but for what? But for what, Riot? But for what? I don't know, man. I literally, I don't get it. Whatever. Anyway, whatever. I don't care. Okay, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with the grandiose details of this one, okay? Basically, in effect, all these changes combined, and that's why you guys come to my videos, so I'm explaining it for you. All these changes combined, what they mean is it is harder to get an objective bounty by going double support on your team. Okay? If you go support item on like Soraka mid or Janna top, while having a support item on your bot laner, your team will effectively never be able to get an objective bounty off abusing that. You still might if you're getting your shit fucking destroyed, but you won't be able to force your team to have an objective bounty by using the support items. That's what they're doing. Okay. And that's it. In effect, that's what it reads. Okay. And then they're also nerfing objective bounties. So once you reach the threshold where you don't need an objective bounty, instead of having a 15-second grace period to get an objective, now you only have a 5-second objective. That's it. ARAM changes, nothing here. I think someone told me about one bug fix I want to look over. Oh, why are there so many? Okay, fix a bug where champions will be able to cast some summoner spells while traveling through Hextech gates, including Smite. But that just kind of sounds cool. If someone stole Dragon or Baron with Smite while in a Hextech gate, why would you remove that? Once again, okay, look, I don't want to harp on Riot too much for this, but it literally sounds like a Rioter had their Baron stolen by a guy going through the Hextech gate who smited the Baron, and they were like, no, you can't do that, no. Like, that, it just, like, I don't know, like, I get it conceptually, you're not targetable, so you shouldn't be able to smite while you're not targetable, I guess. But that just kind of seems like one of the things, I don't know, man. But because here, that doesn't matter. Fixed a bug where Ahri's passive Essence Thief could obtain essence from champion clones. That sounds impactful. Actually, I want to look through this, by the way. I'm going to go through the list of champions that we're going to see next patch, very likely, or champions that desperately need to be fucking nerfed that aren't. Number 1, Riven. Why the fuck is a champion who already has a 52% win rate in Platinum, and what's her win rate in Masters Plus? 53%. Look at this, sticks out like a fucking sore thumb. What the fuck, Riot? It's obvious. You buffed her because you nerfed the items, then you buffed the items, then you nerfed the items, then you buffed her because you were nerfing the items, then you buffed the items, then you nerfed the items, and then you buffed the items for her. Yeah. I mean, no fucking shit she's gonna be overpowered. Second up is Ahri with... I literally, for the fucking life of me, can't understand how... let me zoom this one in. Ahri is the highest played mid laner at Masters Plus with a 53% win rate. Riot, could we talk how this isn't getting nerfed? I mean, I guess they're fixing a bug here, but I don't think healing off Shaco clones is giving her the high... I don't think she's gonna get nerfed enough because she can't heal on Shaco ult. Is what I'm saying. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Fixed a bug where Zed cast his Living Shadow and recasted it while his Q was in flight. Both shurikens would launch from Zed's new position. That seems like an overpowered change, so yeah, that's good. Doesn't really seem to be any changes. There's one change I'm looking for that I can't find. I thought somebody said something about Yorick. I was gonna read. Yeah, there we go. Fixed a bug where Yorick's Maiden of the Mist would get stuck inside structures and walking near them. The Maiden will now be ghosted and move through structures and units in true ghost-like fashion. I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. This change actually should have been listed in Yorick's actual changes. Now, I haven't played Yorick in years. Let me just be clear on that one. I've not played this champion in years. But Maiden getting stuck in the minion wave or needing extra time to walk around stuff or having weirdly or just janky shit like that actually does impact Yorick and the Maiden kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie, that shit does actually impact the game a lot. And this is actually something of, I'm not gonna, maybe like a 0.1 to 2 to 3 to 5% win rate, but this definitely is a buff. Is Maiden getting ghosting and being able to actually walk around normally in big minion waves? That's actually a buff. That's actually a pretty big buff. Not gonna lie. That should probably have been listed normally in like the actual, because that's pretty good. Anyway, let's look over this skin. So we have Admiral Glask, who I'm gonna be dead honest. This is Riot did a good job with this skin. This one actually looks really cool. I like what they're doing. I like the look. I like what they're going for. Aesthetically pleasing. Shockblade Kiana and Shockblade Shen. So, yeah, I mean, this is just Kiana's new waifu bait. I don't know. Shen looks cool. I'll give him that. I will look at him in game later, but yeah, Kiana, just waifu Kiana. Shockblade Kassadin. I'll have to look in game again because this could go one of two ways. Firelight Echo. Oh, that's just Echo skin. Does he have the mask in game? Here, I'm gonna take away my camera so you guys can see everything fully. So I'll go back. Here's Kiana and her wonderful thighs and boobs and waist. They want to make sure you're seeing the boobs, the waist, and the thighs, chat. Do you see them? Good. Okay. There's glass. Let's zoom in. Pretty cool. I like it. Pretty cool. There's Shockblade Kassadin. Once again, I don't know how it's gonna look in game, so I'll have to wait. Firelight Echo. Does he get his mask in game or not? Because the mask was kind of what made this skin, or at the very least, it's what made him in Arcane pretty cool. So They better fucking have the mask. And here's Brave Phoenix Zaya Prestige Edition, who, I'm gonna be dead honest, every time I look here and I see the name is Zaya, I click in and I go, oh, when's Aurelia getting a new skin? And I click out and I'm like, oh, there's Zaya. Then I click in, I'm like, oh wow, Aurelia is getting a new skin. And then I click out, I'm like, no, that's Zaya. Then I click in, I'm like, oh, Aurelia, Zaya, Aurelia, Zaya, Aurelia. It's fucking Aurelia. It just has the Aurelia aesthetic, man. Okay, Shockblade Kiana. So it's just as booby as you think it is. Honestly, I like how it looks. It looks nice. I guess she's the boob Naruto ninja. I don't know. Admiral Glask. Okay, that actually looks really fucking cool. From the top down with the cap like that, that looks really fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's nice that they're actually giving a female skin, like an actual good-looking skin. Let me zoom in here for you guys. It's nice that they're giving a female character, like an actual good-looking skin that isn't just, it's the lightning boob skin. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. Shockblade Cassidon. This is what I was talking about, is I had to see it in game. Because over here, it looks really fucking badass. And I knew by looking at it, I just knew by looking at it that it just wasn't gonna look right in game. And in game, I'm not saying it looks bad, but he looks like he's made out of plastic, and it just doesn't have the right feel. Yeah, it just, especially with the legs and shit, it just, This looks badass. This is, Firelight Echo doesn't wear the mask, so it's fucking pointless. Okay, without it being Firelight Echo, so without it having the mask, this just looks like Homeless Echo. Ignore the name. Just look at the skin. If I asked someone who didn't play League of Legends, they'd be like, is that a homeless guy? Yeah, I mean, without the mask, this actually doesn't even look good. I'm gonna be dead honest. This doesn't look good. Please give him back the mask. That's kind of what made the outfit look cool. Like look at the outfit. The outfit by itself isn't what's cool. This is just a normal generic outfit. Like, there's nothing cool about the outfit. It was the fucking mask that I wanted. Holy shit, guys. We're laying against Aurelia. Oh shit, I mean, that's Zaya. Aurelia! Zaya. Aurelia! Oh my god. Okay, I mean, Anivia does look cool, though. I'll give her that. Anivia does look cool. Holy shit, guys. Aurelia is now a pop star. Wait. She's kind of got a punchable face in that one. I normally don't try to bandwagon the Seraphine hate. She kind of got a punchable face there, not gonna lie. Okay, she literally looks insane. Look, can I zoom in on the face for you guys? What is going on here? Okay. Oh, right, I forgot to do Shen. Yeah, this is pretty much what I like. I like this one. This is kind of what I was hoping the Cassidon one would look like. The Cassidon one's all wrong. It's janky as shit. Big time. Go. This one looks cool, though. I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. Let's see, what we got last? Firecracker Vayne. Isn't Vayne supposed to have like a scowl? That's just boob Vayne. Since when does Vayne have double D's? I thought Vayne was more modest as well. I mean, she might be wearing the skin-tight bodysuit, but she didn't just fucking proudly display. Without the bow, you could see her nipples. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. That's not aesthetically Vayne, is it? I feel like It's just not aesthetically vain. I feel like you could have had another big boob skin for a different AD carry. There's lots of AD carries like that. I feel like aesthetically vain. Oh well, whatever. Firecracker Sejuani. How did we go from Sejuani was wearing the panties and bra outfit, right? Then they decided, actually, that's fucking stupid. She's a tank and she comes from the north. She should look like a tank, right? So they gave her armor and shit because tanks are supposed to look like tanks, not like they're at the beach. And then they give her a skin and they're like, now she's wearing thigh highs again. What happened, right? How did this happen again? And that's it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. There is them patch notes. Make sure to join my Patreon. The link is in the description. Joining my Patreon helps me immensely in order to appreciate my Patreon supporters more directly, more sensually. We will be now reading through all their names. Okay, so thank you. I'll just leave Seraphine up here so you guys can enjoy Seraphine while we talk. Oh, let me put my camera back on, though. Wait, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so let me read through all the names here. We got, thank you, Monica, Vapelord Volnir, Fell, Hun Arthur, Granola, Philemon Landry, Nathan Mark Terengoy, William Egan, Alex Strum, Blazenrock, Bleedmaster, Crash Pinho, Guardian Willemarts, Josiah Davila, Kokirli, Mao Runner, Not a Cultivator Zyra, Oniroy, Paul Andrew Olsen, Destroy. That guy's name is Cyrillics and I can't read Cyrillic, so Death Note, Alexander Makarov aka Firedigger, Amiru, Sophisticated Fart, Malice, Yad God, Ben, Benji, British Mapper, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Dark Lord Laser, Daisy Mew, Fanaku, Fool Yuki, Jamie Varela, Jaw 212, Kata Jin, Naptroll, Mohammed Niguera, BKZ, Retro, Scorpion, Stefan Sleazer, Survivor02, Take One, Tomato, Under, Uvo Plaja, WLC, League of Legend. Okay? Thank you all.